Very pretty, magnificent looking bridge. Just an early morning pan as the fog lifts from Sevilla down to Cordova. Now I believe we're in the land of huge olive plantations. Just a side note, I saw a silhouette for a huge black bull and remembered that when I was at the Evora site for the megaliths, Mario told us that that area that we were in with the cork trees was also where they raised most of the bulls for the bullfighting arenas. And in addition to owner sensitivities to being on the trespassing on their property, the danger of bulls attacking was significant. A fairly large solar farm. Almost as far as you can see, olive groves. Just a side note, I saw a silhouette for a huge black bull and remembered that when I was at the Evora site for the megaliths, Mario told us that that area that we were in with the cork trees was also where they raised most of the bulls for the bullfighting arenas. Standing at the bus stop in Cordova, between the train station and the bus station, I noticed that there is a Roman site here. That's the Roman bridge, I think. Up there is the cathedral, and my hostel's over there somewhere. Apparently a typical posada. I think that means restaurant and like hotel or accommodation, but a typical one. This all whitewash, which may well have been the way they did it. It's a nice way to do it. Get tired of looking at earth tone brick when the earth is the same color. And you see the slope then for washing clothes in this old basin. Not sure what these protrusions are. They look like hooks, but they could have been either for holding shelves for pots or maybe tack or who knows what. Depends on what these rooms were used for. Down below, if these were for your horses, then tack would make sense. Particularly if everything upstairs was for people to stay in. That'd be a classic design throughout the world. I'm just exiting that little plaza, which is to the left of my hostel, Funky Cordova, which is therefore to the right. And going down here to another Plaza de Corredera. This is a pretty little entryway to a home with a Star of David, maybe alluding to its Jewish past. Plaza, but there's another one just before it, which is to the right here. A pleasant little neighborhood place with some park art. A mother and her two children. I'll just keep moving forward, but notice those pretty little houses up there with the upstairs patio and the roof. This plaza is interesting. It's one of the largest and grandest looking ones. Obviously set up for tour bus groups with all these tables and chairs. It's probably a secondary to certainly Madrid and Barcelona, but even to Granada and Sevilla. And the prices here are higher than they are in Sevilla or northern Spain. Up around 11 to 14 euros for plato dia as opposed to 9 or 10 or 11. There's cute little shops here. It doesn't have the same tawdry look that I'd sensed out of in, not Burgos, but Leon Square, Plaza. This is a little more country, more simple, which is reassuring. And I'll bet the tour buses dump in here. Here, further down, a little bit out of the way from a bunch of restaurants we looked at before, where all the chairs are better prices. For example, here, pollo con salsa de pinos, chicken with pine nut sauce, $5.60 for media. Terra is $7.10. I don't know what that means. One of the churches is letting loose with its bells. I've seen dominoes played since I think it was Asia somewhere. I'm guessing that those are all residences up there, apartment units. Some people embellishing them a bit with some greenery, others not. So there's my hostel in the lower right, and there we are in the upper right. And the Mezquita, which is what I've come to see, is this, which is a cathedral, 16th century, in the middle of an older mosque. Just off the square I saw this very narrow little quiet alley. I thought I'd explore it. The tranquility of these alleys are those doorways. Behind those doorways, back inside of the spaces, are oftentimes central courtyards that offer greenery and like what you would have as an equivalent of a backyard. And much of the world is like this. I remember that wandering the first day I got into Bangkok. I don't know whether this is an intentional display of the past, in particular this area here where the building's been stuccoed over, but we're still allowed to see what the construction underneath it is that might have been. So in the corner here of this plaza that I walked past before is a priest with a child in one hand and a child on the other hand, her with her teddy bear. So I'll just give a little insight into menus and food thing, a very simple thing. There are at least two kinds of menu choices. A tapa, you see in the upper right hand corner, and the ración. And the tapa means just a little dish. It's like a side dish. And the ración means probably a more elaborate, not maybe a dinner, but getting more closely to dinner than from the little appetizer kind of thing. And what people normally do, you'll find in northern Spain, these tapas are laid out across the bar in glass cases or whatever, and you just go down and choose whichever ones you want and then pay for them in total, and you stand at the bar and eat them. So here what I'm going to get is this patatas bravas, and that's and if you flip the menu over, it's in English. Smart. So the patatas to the brava is potatoes in squares with spicy sauce. I'm going to try vaso de gazpacho Cordobas. Spanish gazpacho cup. A cup of Spanish gazapo soup. I'm only 100 meters or so away from that main square, but being here, it's nice and quiet. Just a few people, man and his daughters, having something to eat. The church to my left, some benches, and then I sit and watch all the peeps go back and forth. apparently is my cup of gazpacho. Not exactly what I thought I'd get. It looks like a puree of gazpacho, I guess. It actually looks to me like some kind of orange frappe drink, and I don't even know what a frappe is. It has a pleasant enough taste, a little bit tomatoey, just a slight tomato, a little bit sour, I think, just the slightest tinge of sour or bitterness. I mean, that's not to take anything away from it. This is my potatoes with spicy sauce, the sauce having an uncannily similar appearance, or at least color, to my gazpacho.